Chapter 3, Shadows in the Hall, A Chilling Encounter. The walls of Valeria's apartment seemed to close in as she reread the email. The words pulsed in her mind like a sinister warning. Someone out there knew she had the diary, and they wanted her to stop. But stopping was not in her nature. The uneasy silence was shattered by the sudden ringing of her phone. She hesitated before answering. Hello? No response, just things slow, deliberate, and chilling. Who is this? Valeria demanded, gripping the phone tightly. A whisper finally came through. You shouldn't have opened it. Click, the line went dead. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She rushed to her window and scanned the darkened street below. Was someone watching her? A shadow flickered near the alley across the street, but when she blinked, it was gone. Trying to steady her breath, she returned to the diary, flipping through more pages. Lucia had written about hearing voices at night, seeing distorted reflections in her mirror, visions that felt like warnings. One passage stood out. I saw him again tonight. He was standing in the hallway just beyond the reach of the light, watching, waiting. When I turned on the lamp, he was gone. But I know he's real. Valeria shuddered. The description sent a ripple of unease through her, mirroring her own creeping fear. Was this paranoia or something much worse? Determined to find answers, she decided to visit the last known address of Lucia's family. She grabbed her coat, stuffed the diary into her bag, and headed out into the cold night. The journey to the old house was unnerving. Every streetlight seemed dimmer than usual. Every shadow stretched impossibly long. The address led her to an abandoned building, its windows boarded up, its door barely hanging on its hinges. She hesitated. Then, with a deep breath, she pushed the door open. It creaked, the sound echoing through the emptiness inside. Dust filled the air and the scent of mildew clung to the walls. Stepping inside, Valeria's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing cobwebs and crumbling wallpaper. The oppressive silence was broken only by the distant sound of dripping water. Her footsteps echoed ominously as she made her way deeper into the house. Then she saw it. A single chair sat in the center of the room. On it lay another leather-bound journal, identical to Lucia's. But this one had her name on it. Her hands trembled as she reached for it. The moment her fingers brushed the cover, the door behind her slammed shut. And the whispers began. She spun around, flashlight sweeping the room, but saw nothing. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if coming from all directions at once. Heart pounding, she flipped open the journal. The first page bore a chilling message in the same neat handwriting. Valeria Rivas, you are next. The air grew colder, and the whispers seemed to take shape, forming words that sent chills down her spine. You shouldn't have come here. Leave while you still can. He's watching. Desperation clawed at her chest. She had to get out, but the door was firmly shut, as if sealed by an unseen force. She glanced at the windows boarded up and offering no escape. The walls seemed to close in, the shadows growing darker and more menacing. Valeria's mind raced. She had to stay calm, find a way out. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her trembling hands. Focusing on the task at hand, she examined the journal for any clues, any hint that could help her escape this nightmare. Another entry caught her eye, dated just a week before Lucia's disappearance. I've discovered something terrible. They don't want anyone to know the truth. Elias Vargas is the key, but finding him means risking everything. I have to act quickly. If you're reading this, Valeria, trust no one. The name Elias Vargas sent a fresh wave of fear through her. Who was he? And what terrible truth had Lucia uncovered? Just as she was about to turn the page, the whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by a deafening silence. The sudden stillness was unnerving, heightening her sense of dread. Then, from the corner of her eye, she saw a figure standing in the doorway, a tall, shadowy silhouette, just beyond the reach of her flashlight. Her breath caught in her throat as the figure stepped forward, the dim light revealing a man with piercing eyes that seemed to look right through her. "Valeria," he spoke, his voice smooth and menacing. "You were warned. Now it's too late." Panic surged within her. She backed away, searching for an escape route, but the figure advanced steadily, closing the distance between them. The room seemed to shrink, the walls pressing in, trapping her. Summoning her courage, Valeria made a split-second decision. She hurled the journal at the man, hoping to distract him, and darted towards the nearest window. With all her strength, she smashed the glass with her flashlight and climbed through, ignoring the cuts and bruises. She landed on the cold, damp ground outside, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Without looking back, she sprinted towards the street, the sound of her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. As she ran, she knew one thing for certain. She couldn't trust anyone. The shadows were closing in, and the truth was more dangerous than she had ever imagined. But Valeria Rivas was not one to back down. She would uncover the secrets, no matter the cost.